The current election cycle is going full speed ahead. Attack ads are showing, accusations are flying back and forth. It's miserable, isn't it? So I thought I would share some proven spiritual advice that will help keep you anchored through this election day and beyond. It comes from Methodism's founder, an 18th century British preacher named John Wesley. In his journal entry from October the 6th, 1744, Wesley reports, "I met those of our society, a Methodist small group, who had votes in the ensuing parliamentary election. And I advised them, 1, to vote without fee or reward for the person they judged most worthy. 2, to speak no evil of the person they voted against. And 3, to take care that their spirits were not sharpened against those who voted on the other side." For the next few weeks, we're going to be studying each of these statements. They provide wonderful guidance to both people of faith and to the voting population in general. So let's start with the words of Wesley's first directive, where he urges all eligible people to vote. Let me counter with my own question. Why? Why make the effort to mark up a ballot full of names you don't know, or read into issues that are shrouded in political legalese? Who has the time to get registered, or to stand in line at the polls on election day? What's the point if my vote doesn't mean anything in this age of super PACs, special interest groups, and mega donors? What's the point? Why? Because it's important, that's why. That's the message Wesley's trying to get across here first and foremost. By encouraging people to vote, he's saying every voice matters. You, me, we all have value. So we need to get out there, vote, and make sure our needs and beliefs are known to our leadership. So what about people who say it's not worth it? I'm not rich enough, smart enough, or influential enough, so I'm just gonna sit back and watch. Well, none of those beliefs is true. Tell me, when America's richest man, Jeff Bezos of Amazon, goes to the polls here in a few weeks, how many ballots will he get? 1. That's it. The same number as everyone else. Voting, if officiated right, is ultimately a fair system, unless people choose not to participate. Well, what about those who say that voting doesn't matter because elections are rarely settled by a single vote? Well, that's true to a degree. Yet it is common for races to be decided by a slim margin. Some of these campaigns end up being very important. The course of history has turned due to a mere handful of votes. Here's a few instances you may not know about. In the 1960 presidential election, John F. Kennedy defeated Richard M. Nixon by only 0.17 of the popular vote. One stat I read said that equates to a mere 3 additional votes for JFK per precinct. Or how about in 1845, when the US government was considering adding Texas to the Union? Just 1 vote made it happen. Can you picture what America would look like without Texas? I mean, who would have given us football teams that dominate the SEC, or stylish 10-gallon cowboy hats that you wear on a ranch? Then there's this last one. This is widely regarded as urban legend, but according to some early accounts, in 1776, the American Continental Congress was 1 vote away from making German our official state language. Can you imagine what that would have been like? If some of our great American quotes were said in German rather than English? Toto, ich habe das Grapefruitstein nicht mehr in Kansas. Das ist ein kleiner Schritt für den Menschen und ein grober Sprung für die Menschheit. I apologize to those of you native German speakers out there because I just absolutely butchered that. Again, that story is likely not true, but the notion underneath it sure is. Sometimes a single or small number of ballots wins the day. And while every vote doesn't tip the balance, it's still worth casting yours because it will inform your representatives about how you feel and affect how they perceive the electorate. Even if your viewpoint is in the minority, you should do this, because voting tells our leaders how they should be acting, how they should be representing everyone. Good leaders take all views into account. I know, what if your elected officials aren't listening to you no matter what you do or say? Well, that's where the second part of Wesley's directive comes into play. We need to vote for worthy people and issues. Worthy in this case meaning leaders who will listen to all their constituents, and policies that will benefit and represent as many people as possible. Are you not sure which candidates and issues fit those parameters? Here are some steps that will help you as you try to vote for the worthiest candidates and issues. First, decide the issues that matter the most to you. What are the things you care about? Next, find out what your candidates think about these issues. You've probably seen ads on TV or pop-ups on the internet. Ignore those. They are way too often misleading, or they focus only on what the candidate is against rather than what they are for. Do your research, then pick the worthy candidate or issue that most agrees with your ideas. Here's a shocker. It may not be the person from your political party or the candidate you thought you were going to vote for. Fourth, be sure the candidate can do the job or that the policy will accomplish its goal. This might be the ultimate point in determining someone or something's worth. So really think about it. Can the candidate do what they are promising to do? If you're considering a policy, ponder what it will actually do. Will it benefit all people or just a small, select few of the population? Lastly, plan to vote and do it. Do what you need to do so your voice won't get lost or overlooked in the shuffle. Folks, let me be clear here. I'm not telling you who or what to vote for. That's up to you and only you. But if you're a person of faith, remember, voting is a referendum on what you believe, what you hold sacred. In this way, voting can be a visible act of faith, so act accordingly. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, Jesus tells his followers, "You are the light of the world, like a city on a hilltop that cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to the entire house. In this same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father." Think of it that way while you're voting this year. We believe in God's light and life. So what policies best shine that out? Which leaders act like a city on a hill? Who is worthy, as Wesley would say? I disagree with what Wesley says after that. Voting in this way does demand a fee from us. We give up a little of ourselves to contribute to the national conversation. And in the end, it can bring out a great reward. Government, if done well, can be a valuable yet separate ally in bringing forth God's dreams. Your voice is essential to that. So make sure you vote. Make sure you shine. And let's make this a blessed election season.